in order to really unleash the potential of China, you've got to let Chinese express themselves and to be creative and to run businesses and to solve problems and to create opportunities and to run services and to have free movement of capital. So you need all those kind of democratic values to exist within a communist system, and it can't. So China, if you look at the heart of American exceptionalism, particularly in tech, it's not American. It's not white American. It's Indian, Chinese. I mean, is it the B1 visa?
But I know what you're referring to. The foreign talent.
Do you know who Michio Kaku is?
Yeah.
Okay, he's
the Japanese
physicist. Yeah. I mean, he's quite vocal about it actually, and he says that the one thing that's driving American exceptionalism in terms of science and innovation is the B1 visa. So if Chinese can come to Britain or Europe or America and do extraordinary things and educate their children, with possibly too much discipline, but with discipline and drive and motivation, they can do it in Western universities, they can do it in Chinese universities, and they should.
Yes.
But they won't, because they're all looking for an exit. They're all looking for ways to move their money out of the United States. Out of China.
Out of China.
So that you've got sort of this tidal wave of money, trillions of dollars, that are coming through Hong Kong into offshore trusts through things like private placement life insurance and other estate planning things, because they don't trust that it's my understanding that they don't trust the inner state, the Chinese Communist Party, not to, if threatened, to clamp down across the whole of society and destroy everything that they've allowed to thrive in the private sector in order to protect itself. So that contradiction, without solving it, without having extraordinary reforms and a third way of politics, which we've all been looking for, without having a vision for that and it being implemented in China, it's always going to be second best.
But it's kind of going back to the bat analogy that I was making. So basically it's saying, I want to be great, but you have to be white first, right? Kind of. Chinese want to be great, but you have to be white first. You need to abandon communism and then start to let market forces or economics or free market to start to play into the right. But then that's really contradicting. That's, as you mentioned, that's contradicting to the central plan.
Yes.
Right. So you do have to be white first.
I think that means an awful lot more to you than it does to me in terms of the nuance.
Okay.
But look at Japanese. I mean,
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
They are. I think honorary white people.
But they don't have communism.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be white.
No. What I meant by white, meaning like you have to abandon communism and start.
Yeah. You can't be red.
That's pretty clear.
You can't be, unless you're going to find a way to exploit the weaknesses of free market economics and democracy in the West and expand into global socialism.
Like Singapore?
No, Singapore is...
Or like what Deng Xiaoping did back in the early 90s?
No, I think it's a new... Gosh, there's a Holy Trinity of technologies that are coming down. Obviously, we've got AI that's very much current at the moment. You've got quantum computing and fusion power. So you've got free energy. I say superhuman, but it's much more superior in intelligence. And then quantum computing, which is just means that the amount of energy, the amount of computing you could do with virtually no energy, is extraordinary. I think that will end up being the source of a kind of a new wave of global socialism, where the class system is just wiped out because everybody has access to energy and knowledge and opportunity when these three technologies come together. I mean, already right now in AI, what you're seeing is a few companies where so much value in the supply chain is now basically going up to those companies, and that's why you've got in tech, so many extraordinarily rich people, those billionaires that are creating inequality. Well, really, all that technology should be available to everybody, so that class system goes away. So instead of the Communist Party sort of going to zero, maybe the future is that they have a vision and it goes global. It goes the other way.
Oh, okay. So they kind of democratize that sense across the globe.
Yeah. So the contradiction is between those two forces, right? You've got forces of market capitalism that require basically sort of democratic institutions to work, which is where we have this concept of Singapore and Hong Kong because of the common law and the democratic institutions. And then you've got autocratic rule, with this sort of system that you can't penetrate and you can't join. It's just there. Well, that's the contradiction. So either one dominates over the other. Right. And I think there's a possibility that as we go into the next century or the end of this century, that we end up with a third way of global communism, where all property is common.
Like John Lennon's.
Yeah, like John Lennon. Imagine there's no countries, no religion, and suddenly bang, 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 bang.